right, Texas sued the Biden administration. I just feel like sometimes we should just have a camera going at all times so we can play some of these off-air conversations that we have. But then again, someone would get canceled. I don't know. Eventually, someone would say something that they would get canceled. So I guess it's better that we don't.
Monetization would be a no-no for everything.
I'm already demonetized, Jason. I'm screwed on like every platform. They hate me. So Texas sued the Biden administration yesterday for the federal government's practice of cutting wire, the razor wire that was placed by Texas state authorities. Obviously, we've shown video clips of this. Governor Abbott deployed and instructed Texas National Guard and Texas authorities to put this razor wire to deter all of these illegal immigrants to come in. They, of course, installed the buoys as well, which the DOJ and the Biden administration is now suing Texas over. So we've got videos of federal agents going around literally cutting the razor wire that Texas has installed, allowing these illegal immigrants to come through, and in some cases even fist bumping them as they're walking through and entering our country illegally. So according to the lawsuit, they say that federal agents have implemented a policy of destroying Texas wire to, quote, encourage and assist thousands of aliens to illegally cross the Rio Grande and enter Texas. By cutting Texas's concertina wire, the federal government has not only illegally destroyed property owned by the state of Texas, it has also disrupted the state's border security efforts, leaving gaps in Texas's border barriers and damaging Texas's ability to effectively deter illegal entry into its territory. I really wish that we had been able to, there's that razor wire being cut for these people who just walk right on up and through. It's very easy for them. For as much as the federal government wants to say, we don't have an open border, it's pretty open. I don't know how much more open you can get. I wish that I had been able to have Attorney General Ken Paxton on today, but he said in a statement yesterday that the state has the sovereign right to construct border barriers to prevent the entry of illegal aliens. The Department of Homeland Security is listed in the lawsuit. Alejandro Mayorkas himself, DHS Secretary, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, CBP Acting Commissioner Troy Miller, U.S. Border Patrol, and the Border Patrol Chief and Acting Chief Border Patrol Agent Juan Bernal, all are defendants in this lawsuit. It is just so bizarre to me that we are living at a time in which a state literally has to fight the federal government in order to secure the country's border, which is, I was going to say sovereign border, but it's wide open.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't know any better, and we definitely don't because the thought police teach us we don't know better, we would think the federal government, the Biden administration, wants an open border when they're doing things like opening the border. And sometimes I think, just to grasp how ridiculous it is, if you thought of the border security strategies by the Biden administration, let's cut the razor wire, let's get the buoys down, enter here. If the border security strategies were implemented by a home security company, they come into your home like, okay, you want a more secure home? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the front door, we're going to take that off the hinges, and we're going to cut about a 15-foot wide hole in the side of your wall that's going to make it extra secure. And your fence over there, we're going to lower that because it's way too high to keep people out. And by the way, if anyone does somehow infiltrate your home with these security strategies, then you'll need to give them a phone, a bed, and pay for their food.
Right.
That's what we're going to do.
Right. I mean, it
sums up the Biden border policy.
It does. Exactly. It really does. It really does. And I mean, it's just, you say it in such a way that that just sounds ridiculous, but it really is what's going on every single day at our border.
And what's so psychotic is you now have the Biden administration say it's time to start constructing parts of the wall.
You're right.
But that does not jive with them breaking parts of the border like this. It's almost like this is all just spiteful. Mm-hmm. Like we know, remember that barrage of executive orders that they had for Biden to sign on day one, and it was all just to dismantle Trump's legacy.
Yep.
That's what it was about. It didn't matter if it was common sense stuff, and a lot of what they signed out was Trump's border policies. Right. And it had nothing to do with how effective it was. It was just because they wanted to get back at him. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was their first salvo. And then weaponizing the DOJ and all the raids and indictments, that was the second salvo. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are still coming. That's how bad these guys are.
Yeah.
But I mean, it tells you a lot of just about how vindictive they are. And this has nothing to do with our security. Like these border towns, can you imagine what they're going through? I mean, New York buckled under what? Was it like did they get up to 100,000?
Yes. So according to New York City data, more than 140,000 from the U.S. border with Mexico have been shipped up to New York City since spring of last year.
Yeah, so I think that we were getting to around just at, was it 9,000 at Eagle Pass a day or something like that?
I think at one point it was like 15,000.
I mean, so they're reaching New York levels
Yeah.
every couple weeks or so.
Right.
And it's with no stop.
Right.
Imagine if you're a citizen of Eagle Pass.
Yeah.
What the hell are you going to do?
Right.
It's like to your point, it's a small town. It's not New York with
Right.
millions of people and you
And
have
budget.
140. Yeah, I can't imagine. It's just, and I'm curious, like with what the Biden administration's doing, dismantling our border. When do we start calling that domestic terrorism?
Well, when does, okay, here's a good, first step, I guess, for the new Speaker of the House. Why don't you start impeaching people? Go ahead and impeach Mayorkas. Because this is all on him. That was his agents cutting that wire.
Right.
He's the guy ultimately responsible, right? Go after him. Go after Merrick Garland. We know the DOJ is weaponized now. Go after Merrick Garland. You know that he knew things that he's not letting on that he didn't know about with the Hunter Biden investigation. Go there. I mean, that's what we want to see. Actual teeth behind the words that have seemed so empty for the past several years.
Right.
Go after it.
So, Jason, you mentioned New York City. I want to play. It's just so, I mean, I would say comical. I guess it's not funny, but it kind of is to those of us who have been sounding the alarm on the border crisis for a very long time. And you have all of these blue states who always happen to be sanctuary cities, right? They've got New York City, you've got cities in California, you've got sanctuary states in some cases, and they're like, well, we accept everyone regardless of race and sexual orientation and list identity here. And they want to make it a point to grandstand about how you're not the compassionate ones. We love everyone. And then when it comes to their backyard, they're like, yeah, well, we're out of room. So you guys are going to need to go somewhere else. It turns out we're not a sanctuary city. I want to play Eric Adams saying just that. Watch.
You know what? In over 50 years, I never thought I would say this again, but I'm going to say it now. Eureka. This is what we've been trying to say. I mean, what is it going to take before people understand what out of room means? Yes, we're placing people in conditions that are unfair for migrants, and it's unfair for New York City taxpayers.
Oh.
That's what we've been trying to say over and over again. And
Really?
we're doing it like no other municipality. No other municipality is accomplishing what we have accomplished. But I want to be clear. The visual signs of this crisis in our city, people are going to start to see it.
I've talked to several people who have been in New York, and what is it, the Roosevelt Hotel that is housing a lot of these migrants, and they've been to that area, and they're just like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, with as dirty as New York City already was, seeing all of these illegal immigrants there, and they don't, by the way, they're not here to assimilate. They don't care about like any of our standards of behavior. So there's like rotting food that's sitting out in the stairwells. There's there's rapes going on. There's all sorts of stuff because like they're just, in my opinion, a lot of them, it turns out, are just here for free stuff because that's what they've been promised. And so they're not like, I'm here for the American dream because I was told that I can make it if I just pull up my bootstraps and work hard. No, they literally just want to take advantage of our system, a lot of them. And that is New York City. You're seeing the results of that. Go
My
ahead.
favorite part of that clip, after seeing someone like Adams pointing out the economic ramifications
Right.
of an open border,
Right.
talking about taxpayers, talking about just
exactly.
not having just for all of us, mostly on the right, that have said, no, this has got to stop, I'd like to say to Adams, Eureka. Thank you.
If you like that clip, there is plenty more where that came from. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to the News and Why It Matters YouTube channel to watch the full episode.